Hey guys, Red 5 here, just on my normal commute home, and I just went over 14,000 miles on the old FZ-07, so it's time for some chain maintenance. Now I do my chain cleaning every 500 miles, and the last time I did it at 13,500, I noticed there was a tear in the chain guide on the swing arm. So I ordered a new one, and while we do our chain cleaning this time around, we're going to go ahead and replace that. So I figured I'd make a little video and let you guys see how I did that. And at the same time, I'll show you how I maintain my chain. Now I know there's a lot of how to clean your chain, how to maintain your chain videos out there on YouTube, and I honestly haven't seen a good one, and I've seen many bad ones. So, you know, I've seen people using like engine degreaser and carburetor cleaner on your chain. Don't do that. Please don't do that. That will destroy the O-rings in your chain. So like I say, I got 14,000 miles on the chain now, and it's looking pretty good. No major signs of wear. The sprocket looks good. So I don't see any reason that it won't go another 14,000 miles. So let's get home and we'll get to it. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be cleaning the chain, and we're going to be replacing the chain guide. The chain guide is here along top and underneath your swing arm, and you definitely want to take care of that before something happens to it and your chain starts eating into your swing arm. That'll get very expensive and very dangerous. So what I use to clean the chain is just good old kerosene. It's very inexpensive. It's about $10 for a gallon, and it'll last you a really long time, as opposed to a commercial chain cleaner, which is probably $10 or $12 just for a little aerosol spray can. And to scrub it, just a toothbrush. You probably got one laying around. And I don't even recommend a hard toothbrush. Get a medium or a soft. That will get you in between the links and into the O-rings where you really want to get clean. So the first thing you want when you're cleaning your chain is you want a reference link. So you can see what I've done right here is I've got a link that's marked. So what I did there is just clean it up really good a long time ago, and with a paint pen just put a mark on it, and that's lasted a really long time. So that way you know when you go all the way around the chain, there's no question to whether or not you've made it all the way around. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to give the chain a good soaking, starting from my reference link. I'm just going to go ahead and go all the way around it and give it a good soak. Now once I get back to my reference link, I'm just going to scrub it top and bottom while I give it a squirt. And do like, I don't know, 3 or 4 links at a time.
A few moments later.
Alright, now here we are back at our reference link. We know we've gone all the way around the chain. Now I'm just going to go ahead and give it another, like a little rinse. Again, you can be very liberal with this kerosene. It's super cheap. And as you can see, it's just cutting right through all the grease and dirt. Make sure you have lots of drip protection, because it is going to drip. Just a paper towel, going to go ahead and pull it and wipe it off. See, all that dirt just comes right off. Alright, now you got all that soaked. It's a good time. Good time to go ahead and hit your sprocket. Just very carefully to don't get your hands or your paper towel pinched in between it. Just go one tooth at a time, go around it. You can see soaking it in the kerosene, it just really loosens everything up. Before you just wipe it off, it just comes right off. No real effort. So now I'm going to show you something that you never see, and something that that you really need to keep up on. And what I'm going to show you is we're going to take this cover off, and we're going to clean our front sprocket. Now, I don't do that every time. I probably do that about every 1,500 miles or so. So every 3, or sometimes even 4 if I'm lazy. Every 3 or 4 times you clean the chain, you should really go ahead and pop this cover off and clean your front sprocket, because you're going to be amazed. If you've never done it before, I guarantee it's going to be just jam-packed with grease and rocks and dirt and everything else. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to take off the shift lever, which is really easy. 5mm Allen wrench. Just go ahead and loosen that up. And you have to take the bolt all the way out, because there's a groove that keeps the arm from sliding off. And you'll notice there's a little line on it and then a dot, and so that line is in line with the gap, and it points to that dot. So that way when you put it back on, make sure you put it back on in the same spot. So once you get the bolt out, just go ahead and slide it right off, and just, yeah, you can either set it to the back or set it to the front. Set it to the back out of the way. Put your bolt. Use that. And again, you can do it with an Allen wrench, but it's easier if you got a socket. Again, it's 5mm. We're going to go ahead and take out these 3 bolts right here. Alright, 3 bolts are out. Now I'm just going to go ahead and slide that cover right off. And there you go. As you can see, mine's not too bad because I keep up on it. But if you haven't done it in a while, this whole area will just be completely jam-packed with rocks and all sorts of crap. And then also, while you're in here, you're going to see this front guide, this front chain guide. Now that's just slips right in, so you just kind of pull it out, and then you can go ahead and clean all the grime out of there. Alright, so your front chain guide, it just slips right back in. See, the holes will go over the post, and this one will go underneath that one. Slips right in, just like that. So while we have the front chain guard off, or chain cover, we're going to go ahead and replace that chain guide. So as you can see by the new one, it just presses in with these little rubber mount things. So it looks like what we're going to do is we're going to pull the back end down and just pull it right out. So this pretty much just pulled right out. slide the whole thing out through the back, and there you go. So as you can see, the chain has worn into it. And it split the back. So that's something that you definitely want to look for when you clean your chain. So to help the new one slide right in, I'm going to put a little bit of silicone O-ring lubricant on that. And then you can see there's a open end and a closed end. So the closed end goes out. Okay, to get the new one in, we're just going to go ahead and open it up a little bit. And we're just going to slide it in from the back. Put this under the chain. And it just pushes right in the hole. So the trick is to peel it up a little bit, like fold it up, and then push that forward part in first. And then the back one just slides right into the hole. And you'll feel it when it just pops right in. So let's go ahead and put our sprocket guard back on. So the only trick with this is make sure your vent tubes and your kickstand wire goes in this little slot right here. Just feed that in. Make sure your holes are lined up. And these, they just have to be snugged up, don't over tighten them, can't break them or anything. Okay, now for your shift linkage. Again, you're going to see a line on the shaft. Make sure that line is in line with the gap. Just push that on. And then this is just like a pinch bolt. Again, it doesn't have to be super tight, but this one make it pretty snug. And that's it. Alright, so after just giving a few minutes for the kerosene to dry out, chain is nice and clean and dry, it's time to oil it up. So again, come back to your reference link, and whatever your chain lube of choice is, I use Moto. You just go around, give each link a little squirt. And the idea is to get in between the links, not the outside. Make sure it gets into the rollers and into the O-rings. So there you go, that's how I maintain my chain. And again, I do that every 500 miles. And on the front sprocket, about every 1,500 or 2,000 miles. And also, that's how we change out the chain guide on the swing arm. And if you've got around 10,000 miles or more, I would definitely look at yours and check its condition and change it if you need to. It's not that hard to change. It's only about $10, and it will save you a lot of headache in the future. Alright guys, thanks for watching.